So I have two things. Number one is a question from another Anon. Actually, I'll start with the other thing. So, Garden of the Queen, Lizzie said hi, so, hey Lizzie, what's up? Like, it's nice to hear from you, and I guess I'll respond to that via video. Hello to you as well. So the actual question for this video is from an anonymous person who says, I have a question topic for your video. What advice would you give an experienced witch who is afraid of hedge witchcraft and has not worked with spirits or other realms? Besides like the land of the dead, I don't work with other realms, so I have no advice for you there. If you are afraid because you hear all these crazy stories about astral projection and astral travel, I would say, like, no shit. Everyone on Tumblr seems to think that there's something out to kill them in there, and I wouldn't blame you for never wanting to do that. As for specifically hedgecraft, though, I can tell you that you will see this like really strong trend in online communities, and again, I'm talking about Tumblr, of this like, don't use Ouija boards because demons come get you. Don't do any witchcraft because the demons come get you. Don't do anything you don't know how to do because I'm a lot better than you and I know the answer. And it's just like, oh my god, just shut the fuck up. Like, I understand that there is a need for taking precautions when you're doing things that may hurt you emotionally or physically or spiritually, because that stuff can be heavy. Like, shit can be heavy in religion and in witchcraft and in whatever. Like, I get it. I do understand that. But this idea that, like, we're gonna make PSAs on Tumblr about how dangerous all this stuff is, it really just smacks to me of, like, kids who want to seem edgier and cooler than you, and so they're like, take it from me, because I know this one time I used a Ouija board and I fought off this raging demon, but, like, don't do that because you probably won't be able to fight him back like I did. Just, it is not nearly as scary and dangerous as people make it out to be. For Christ's sake, I've been doing this for, like, years now. I can tell you that most experiences that I have with spirits is them just being like, oh, hey, what's up? And just, like, wandering on. You know, like, the human dead are not that different from the human living in the sense that they're pretty much just boring. Like, most spirits that you encounter are not, like, there to change your life and tell you what your future is. They're not there so that you could, like, communicate their extreme grief and loss to little Timmy who's been left behind in the world of the living. You know, they're not there to scare you and haunt you and all this other shit. I mean, the idea of, like, demon possession, the idea of hauntings, I mean, these things are so rare. Just, like, it's never gonna happen to you, pretty much, so just don't worry about it. I mean, it's like what I tell people who are, like, are afraid of, like, a plane crash. It's like, it's, you know, like, I understand that you're afraid because sometimes it happens, but you're kind of being irrational, and you're much more likely to die in a car accident than in a plane accident. So it's sort of the same thing when it comes to hedge crossing. Now, as for advice as to what to do, I say that you approach it just like you would approach anything else in your craft. You know, use your brain, use your common sense, and you're not going to have any problems. You know, if you feel more comfortably emotionally, physically, spiritually, having words in place, having sigils in place, having, you know, a circle of salt, if that's what floats your boat, do it. I would say that when it comes to hedge crossing, most of my experiences are involuntary, and therefore most of my experiences don't allow me to take the time to, you know, cast my circle and all that stuff, which I don't do anyway, but if I were to want to do that, I usually don't have an opportunity to do that. And I can tell you from actively hunting for ghosts, so going ghost hunting in the traditional sense, from holding seances, from scrying and divination, from doing trance work and hedge crossing, that, you know, I have really never had a experience where I felt like, oh my god, I'm gonna be haunted, oh my god, this is an entity that is trying to be belligerent to me, or anything like that. You know, I think that these experiences are so rare and unusual that even like real hauntings, even in the very, very rare cases that I've met of, like, entities or spirits who haven't necessarily been nice, I mean, they are more similar to grouchy old people than they are to, like, you know, 10-winged demons with a million eyeballs and snakes for hair. I mean, that's just, it just doesn't happen that way, you know? And I wish people would stop being so one-uppity, you know, my horse, your horse, about their ghost stories, because it really just lends to this, like, really childish view that people have of people who do hedge crossing. And I am very skeptical of people who have experiences that just sound like a textbook haunting or sound like something that maybe they saw in a movie once when they were a kid and might just be imagining things, because it really does a huge disservice to those of us who legitimately study it as a science and as a I don't want to say religion, but, as a craft or whatever, and know that, after 10 years of doing this, that it's really a lot more boring than they want to make it out to be. So my advice is just approach it like you would anything else. Use your common sense. Be an adult about it. A lot of times having a specific medium is a lot more helpful, whether that is a tape recorder or a scrying mirror or something like that, something to give you a focal point or to allow you to have measurable results. And then, of course, as always, if you have more specific questions, let me know, and I hope that was helpful and not too grouchy about people on Tumblr.